There's no denying that the NFL players are great at what they do, but that doesn't keep them from some headline-making controversies. Throughout the NFL's history, we've seen all kinds of controversies, and the players involved in them had to face the consequences too. In this video, we'll talk about the most controversial moments of NFL players. Let's get straight into it. First up, Antonio Brown and his removal from Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's not unusual for a team to cut off an amazing player, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had to do it for all the good reasons. In his most recent controversy, Brown was seen leaving the field in the middle of a game. In the third quarter of Tampa Bay versus the Jets, the player took off his jersey and the playing gear. After that, he ran off the field and left the game. Leaving a game in between isn't acceptable by any team at all, and what Brown did was a total breach of rules. Tampa Bay won the match, but Brown was no longer a team member. After the incident, the team representatives announced that Antonio Brown was no longer a Buc due to his actions during the third quarter. But the story doesn't end here. A few days after the player was effectively removed from the team, Brown, through his attorney, accused the team of pulling an ongoing cover-up. According to Brown's attorney, he was removed from the game, and he didn't leave the game on his own. According to the NFL Network, Brown had told the Buccaneers coaching staff that his ankle wasn't healthy enough, which is making it hard for him to continue playing. However, the coach still asked him to enter the game, and yet once again, the player told the staff that he doesn't want to play, with the risk of further injuries. On the other hand, the team believes that the player never mentioned anything about his ankle, and his claim is 100% inaccurate. It's not the first time Antonio Brown has been a part of a controversy. His off-the-field lifestyle is also full of controversies. In one incident, he threw his furniture out of the flat, situated at the 14th story, injuring a man. He has been fined for overspeeding and has even settled sexual misconduct with one of his former trainers. He has much more to add when it comes to controversies, making it reasonable for the team to remove him because of his unprofessional actions. Next up, Ray Lewis, a career full of controversies. There's not one controversy in Ray's career that can be considered the most controversial moment for him, because almost every controversy he's related to is big enough to be called the most controversial. Ray won the Super Bowl twice in his career and was once called the Super Bowl MVP. As one of the greatest players of his generation, Ray even made it to 13 Pro Bowls and won the Defensive Player Award twice. Later in 2018, he was also selected by the Pro Football Hall of Fame. However, despite his success in the field, controversies were always there to accompany him. One of his most famous off-field controversies is when he got involved in a murder trial. The trial was about the murder of two people who were murdered in 2000 after a Super Bowl party. The case wasn't solved, and the mystery about it still remains. For example, the white suit that the player wore to that party was never found. Not just that, one of the investigators also found the blood of one of the deceased inside Ray's limousine. The player got indicted for the investigation. However, we never saw him getting convicted. The charges were dropped later, as the player gave testimony against two other people who were accused of the murder. Now we have O.J. Simpson, the most controversial NFL player ever. We believe that no other NFL could ever live up to a more controversial life than O.J. Simpson. The player spent his last 2 seasons as a team member of the San Francisco 49ers. The player also made it to 5 Pro Bowls and rushed yards leader for a total of 4 times. He was a great player, but the controversies in his life never left his side, specifically after his retirement. After retiring from football, O.J. Simpson was accused of murdering his ex-wife and her friend. In the criminal court, the player got acquitted. However, the player was found guilty of a double murder in a civil trial. The whole thing affected him financially as well. The subsequent payout was so huge that he was left bankrupt after it. Apparently, the murders weren't enough for him to end up in jail, and something even bigger got him later. Simpson was found guilty of robbing a sports memorabilia dealer. As per the reports, the player had robbed the dealer at gunpoint, and after being found guilty, he was sentenced to 33 years in jail. However, he filed for parole and was granted in 2017. Up next, Michael Vick never disappointed the league, but his life off-field wasn't that clean. Michael Vick was undoubtedly one of the best players the league could ever get, and honestly, none of his controversies were related to his gameplay, but his real-life controversies did affect his career as an NFL player. Some of the most controversial moments of this player include being sued by a woman who claimed that the player allegedly gave her an STD and getting fined for making obscene gestures towards fans. He was once also accused of sneaking a water bottle on a plane that consisted of a hidden compartment, but none of these controversies was as big as Vick being involved in dogfighting. Reportedly, the player arranged dogfights at his mansion. Initially, the player and his mansion were investigated for a drug investigation. However, his cousin David Bodie ended up leading investigators to find evidence of dogfighting activities at the player's property. The whole incident occurred in 2007, and that also halted Vick's career as an NFL star. Now Now we have Ray Caruth, a player remembered for the controversy instead of his talent. Caruth was only an NFL player for 3 seasons. However, his talent was definitely amazing, but very few people remember the guy for his talent, and most people know him as that one NFL player who hired a hitman to kill his pregnant girlfriend. Caruth had a very bright future ahead, and it could have been true if he wasn't convicted of conspiring to commit a murder. As per the reports, his then-girlfriend was shot 4 times while she was pregnant with his baby. His girlfriend died, but the baby survived, and that baby is now a young man. After killing his girlfriend, the NFL player ran away and became a wanted fugitive. However, he couldn't stay hidden for long. After getting arrested, Caruth was found guilty and was sentenced to 18 to 24 years in prison. In 2018, the player was released from prison and, for the first time, sent monumental money to his son, who survived. In an interview, the former player also said that he'd like to take care of his son, and Mrs. Adams, his girlfriend Sharika Adams' mother, shouldn't be doing all this, and he wants his responsibility back. Next is Lawrence Taylor, another controversial NFL player. Lawrence may be a great NFL player, but he probably isn't a great person in real life. His life didn't turn out to be nice. Instead, he got so many controversies stuck with him. Throughout his career as an NFL player, he was arrested multiple times due to drug and DWI tests. However, this wasn't the worst part, because there came a time when the player pleaded guilty to sexual misconduct with a minor, 16-year-old girl. After all this, he also tried his luck to become an actor and appeared in some documentaries and TV shows. However, luck didn't help. He failed to become an actor because of his strange and kind of creepy outlook on life and the controversies related to him. He isn't only one of the most controversial players, but also one of the most hated NFL players of all time. As per the reports, the player drank too much and was addicted to snorting cocaine. This reckless behavior only got him more and more haters, and there came a time when even his diehard fans were totally done with him. The thing that makes Taylor different from the people on this list is his attitude. While others would apologize or try to hide what they did, Taylor did everything openly and owned up to what he'd done and what kind of person he was. Even though his issues were way smaller as compared to the other ones, his attitude made him the most controversial and most hated at the same time. For now, this is everything we've got for you, but don't worry, we'll be back with more amazing content soon. If you want to share something with us or have something to say about this video, please feel free to say it in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Till next time, goodbye.